The White Doe of Rylstone, or the Fate of the Nortons. Canto 4th. William Wordsworth. 'Tis night, in silence looking down, the moon, from cloudless ether, sees a camp, and a beleaguered town, and castle, like a stately crown on the steep rocks of winding Tees. And southward far, with moor between, hilltop, and flood, and forest green, the bright moon sees that valley small where Rylstone's old sequestered hall a venerable image yields of quiet to the neighboring fields, while from one pillared chimney breathes the smoke, and mounts in silver wreaths. The courts are hushed. For timely sleep the greyhounds to their kennel creep. The peacock in the broad ash tree aloft is roosted for the night, he who in proud prosperity of colors manifold and bright walked round, affronting the daylight. And higher still, above the bower where he is perched, from yon lone tower the hawk look in the clear moonshine with glittering finger points at 9. Ah! Who could think that sadness here hath any sway? Or pain, or fear? A soft and lulling sound is heard of streams inaudible by day. The garden pool's dark surface, stirred by the night insects in their play, breaks into dimples small and bright. A thousand rings of light that shape themselves and disappear almost as soon as seen, and lo! Not distant far, the milk-white doe the same who quietly was feeding on the green herb, and nothing heeding, when Francis, uttering to the maid his last words in the yew-tree shade, involved whate'er by love was brought out of his heart, or crossed his thought, or chance presented to his eye, in one sad sweep of destiny the same fair creature, who hath found her way into forbidden ground, where now within the spacious plot for pleasure made, a goodly spot, with lawns and beds of flowers, and shades of trellis work in long arcades, and cirque and crescent framed by wall of close-clipped foliage green and tall, converging walks, and fountains gay, and terraces and trim array beneath yon cypress spiring high, with pine and cedar spreading wide their darksome boughs on either side, in open moonlight doth she lie. Happy as others of her kind, that, far from human neighborhood, range unrestricted as the wind, through park, or chase, or savage wood. But see the consecrated maid emerging from a cedar shade to open moonshine, where the doe beneath the cypress spire is laid, like a patch of April snow upon a bed of herbage green, lingering in a woody glade or behind a rocky screen, lonely relic, which, if seen by the shepherd, is passed by with an inattentive eye. No more regard doth she bestow upon the uncomplaining dawn now couched at ease, though oft this day not unperplexed nor free from pain, when she had tried, and tried in vain, approaching in her gentle way, to win some look of love, or gain encouragement to sport or play attempts which still the heart-sick maid rejected, or with slight repaid. Yet Emilius soothed. The breeze came fraught with kindly sympathies. As she approached yon rustic shed hung with late flowering woodbine, spread along the walls and overhead, the fragrance of the breathing flowers revived a memory of those hours when here, in this remote alcove, while from the pendant woodbine came like odors, sweet as if the same a fondly anxious mother strove to teach her salutary fears and mysteries above her years. Yes, she is soothed, an image faint, and yet not feigned, a presence bright returns to her, that blessed saint who with mild looks and language mild instructed here her darling child, while yet a prattler on the knee, to worship in simplicity the invisible God, and take for guide a faith reformed and purified. 'Tis flown the vision, and the sense of that beguiling influence, ampersand quo. But oh, thou angel from above, mute spirit of maternal love, that stoodest before my eyes, more clear than ghosts are fabled to appear sent upon embassies of fear, as thou thy presence hast to me vouchsafed, in radiant ministry descend on Francis, nor forbear to greet him with the voice, and say, if hope be rejected, stay, do thou, my Christian son, beware of that most lamentable snare, the self-reliance of despair. Ampersand quo. Then from within the embowered retreat where she had found a grateful seat perturbed she issues. She will go. Herself will follow to the war, and clasp her father's knees. Ah, no. She meets the insuperable bar, the injunction by her brother laid. His parting charge but ill obeyed, that interdicted all debate, all prayer for this cause or for that, all efforts that would turn aside the headstrong current of their fate. Her duty is to stand and wait, in resignation to abide the shock, and finally secure o'er pain and grief a triumph pure. She feels it, and her pangs are checked. But now, as silently she paced the turf, and thought by thought was chased, came one who, with sedate respect, approached, and, greeting her, thus spake. Ampersand quo. An old man's privilege I take, dark as the time a woeful day. Dear daughter of affliction, say how can I serve you? Point the way. Ampersand quo. Ampersand quo. Rights have you, and may well be bold. You with my father have grown old, in friendship strive for his sake. Go turn from us all the coming woe, this would I beg. But on my mind a passive stillness is enjoined. On you, if room for mortal aid be left, is no restriction laid. You not forbidden to recline with hope upon the will divine. Ampersand quo. Ampersand quo. Hope, ampersand quo. Said the old man, ampersand quo. Must abide with all of us, whate'er betide. In craven's walls is many a den, to shelter persecuted men. Far underground is many a cave, where they might lie as in the grave, until this storm hath ceased to rave, or let them cross the river Tweed, and be at once from peril freed. Ampersand quo. Ampersand quo. Ah, tempt me not. Ampersand quo. She faintly sighed. Ampersand quo. I will not counsel nor exhort, with my condition satisfied. But you, at least, may make report of what befalls. Be this your task, this may be done. 'Tis all I ask. Ampersand quo. She spake, and from the lady's side the sire, unconscious of his age, departed promptly as a page bound on some errand of delight. The nobile Francis, wise as brave, thought he, may want not skill to save. With hopes and tenderness concealed, unarmed he followed to the field. Him will I seek, the insurgent powers are now besieging Barnard's towers. Ampersand quo. Grant that the moon which shines this night may guide them in a prudent flight. Ampersand quo. But quick the turns of chance and change, and knowledge has a narrow range. Whence idle fears, and needless pain, and wishes blind, and efforts vain. The moon may shine, but cannot be their guide in flight. Already she hath witnessed their captivity. She saw the desperate assault upon that hostile castle made. But dark and dismal is the vault where Norton and his sons are laid. Disastrous issue. He had said ampersand quo. This night yon faithless towers must yield, or we forever quit the field. Neville is utterly dismayed, for promise fails of Howard's aid. And Dacre to our call replies that he is unprepared to rise. My heart is sick. This weary pause must needs be fatal to our cause. The breach is open on the wall. This night, the banner shall be planted. Ampersand quo. 'Twas done, his sons were with him all. They bailed him round with hearts undaunted, and others follow. Sire and son leap down into the court. Ampersand quo. 'Tis one and quo. They shout aloud, but heaven decreed that with their joyful shouts should close the triumph of a desperate deed which struck with terror friends and foes. The friend shrinks back, the foe recoils from Norton and his filial band. But they, now caught within the toils, against 1,000 cannot stand. The foe from numbers courage drew, and overpowered that gallant few. Ampersand quo. A rescue for the standard. Ampersand quo. Cried the father from within the walls. But, see, the sacred standard falls. Confusion through the camp spread wide, some fled, and some their fears detained. But ere the moon had sunk to rest in her pale chambers of the west, of that rash levy not remained.